Hello, everyone. Another relatively short list from IGN. The top 25 comic book TV shows.
Marvel.
DC.
Marvel.
DC. Rob Liefeld. What?
Comic book TV shows, and by that I've only watched 2 of them.
Oh, God damn it, Johnny.
Oh man, I could know. Look, let's just go on with the list. I'll tell you whether or not if I actually watched the show or not.
Yeah, this is one I haven't watched. Starting at number 20 of the Superhero Squad, so also known as The Avengers for kids.
Yeah,
I've seen bits of this. It for a kid show, like a little kid show, it works. It does what it needs to do. I mean, granted, if you're like older than 6, you're not gonna dig it. But I mean, it's better than Blue's Clues.
Yeah.
debatable, my good friend.
Number
It's more entertaining to watch than Blue's Clues now.
Debatable, my friend. So moving on to number 24. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1983 TV.
Turtles.
Or 86, sorry. Oh, I watched so much of this show as a kid.
I'm well familiar with the show. I didn't watch a lot of episodes, to be completely honest.
Oh, Phil is Shredder.
Yeah, I grew up more with the movies than I did with the show. But yeah, of course, everyone knows Uncle Philip. What's the Shredder?
I've never really had much connection to TMNT.
You're too young.
It's strictly late. Well, this one in particular is strictly 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I mean, we had not DVD. We had a VHS with like 3 episodes of the series on it, which I watched every now and again. It's just I never connected myself to it.
Well, because you're a 90s kid.
You were
Yeah, I
talking
am.
about limited animation and this crazy as hell synthesizer, which they abused the fuck out of in this show.
And then they made Turtles Forever with the special where they crossed over with not only the newer Turtles, but also the Image Comics Turtles. Or the Mirage Comics Turtles.
I like that crossover.
Me too, but the only thing I don't like about it is that they really over-exaggerate the silliness of the 80s TV show.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's silly by comparison, but it's not April being chased around by a banana demon.
That's silly.
And no Uncle Phil as Shredder, but he does a good job imitating him.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, the Shredder is nowhere near as threatening as he is now, but come on, he was still pretty straight as a villain at the time.
Number 23 is The Adventures of Superman. This is the 40 serial, I'm guessing.
No date is given.
I'm skimming the description. I'm not saying anything because I do know there was an old like 40s, 50s television show.
Yeah,
and I've never watched a single episode of this.
I've seen a little bit of it, just looking through some archival stuff, but I haven't really watched it. If anything, I'm watching predating the Superman movie, it's the cartoons from the 30s and 40s.
Yeah, some of the first stuff he's been in. Yeah.
Just because of some of that imagery is so iconic.
Yeah. Number 22 is Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Yeah, pretty much.
Place.
Spin
it place. While we go to a dissolve cut, as you translate.
Is there anything else you need to know about this show?
Well, then besides the fact that my mom can't shut the fuck up about it. No, I never watched the 70s show.
I watched
my mom loves this show.
I've seen a tiny bit of it. I have seen the Wonder Woman pilot from a few years ago. My God, it's awful. Because it's on DVD. You can find it at DVD at like Dragon Con and other conventions. So, number 21, The Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Don't care, not a Marvel guy.
I've watched this. It's good. Like, it's got... if I had to make a complaint, it's that there's too much fighting and blowing stuff up and not enough character interaction, which is really sort of what works with a superhero team show. Is like how
Avengers assemble. That's all you need to know.
I mean, it's good. I'd give it a watch. It's just... it's a little bare, I guess is a good way to put it.
Next,
I mean, it's worth watching.
Yeah. Up next at number 20 is Young Justice, also known as, hey, let's try and play the Teen Titans show straight this time.
So what is this? Like, is
This
just
is basically the Teen Titans using the other half of the heroes plus Robin because everyone knows who Robin is. Because I mean, it has Superboy, Aqualad, Kid Flash, Ms. Martian. Like, there's no Starfire or Raven or Cyborg or anything. I mean, like I said, it's basically playing the first Teen Titans show kind of straight. I haven't watched too much of it, but it does work for the most part.
I see the Hall of Justice in the background there, so I'm having trouble taking this seriously, just for the record.
Oh, please! You put the Hall of Justice or the Legion of Doom buildings in anything, and no one can take it seriously. It's like Justice League Unlimited Season 2, when it's literally the Hall of Justice and the Legion of Doom. It's like every time they cut to an exterior shot of the building. Meanwhile, in the Hall of Justice. But I mean, like, Young Justice, the show works. I'm not too big a fan of it, mostly because it's one of those, just take the good arcs of Teen Titans comic books and just animate those, please.
I can't say anything about it. I haven't I had no idea this show existed, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, it kind of got released to very little fanfare.
Yeah. Number 19 I'm familiar with, though. Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. To this day, this guy bothers the fuck out of me. I don't know why. It's like, this guy looks too dickish to be Superman, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he plays the role well, but I don't... Just look at that face. That shit-eating grin that...
It's why does douchebag?
Yeah, exactly. Douchebag. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. But I don't know. I was like, I never this was a show that I know that was in syndication since the early '90s.
I know it existed, but I haven't really watched any of it.
It's something about its direction and style turned me off from it. I mean, it's Superman. You'd think I'd watch it right off the bat, but no. Something I didn't like about this show.
Yeah. Coming up next at number 18 is Spawn. Boobies.
That's still the reason why you watched it. Oh my god, breasts. Oh, and
I guess this was before the internet, so
yes, it was.
That's something.
Well, I can't say much about it, though, because I never watched the show.
I haven't watched much of it
I
either.
wanted to watch the show, but I never really got to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Coming up at number 7.
17 is Batman the Brave and the Bold, which I will give credit. It can be great when it tries, but for different reasons. Mm-hmm. It's not as... It obviously never reaches the level of drama or seriousness as the animated series. But I appreciate its comical tone. It's obviously, it's not trying to be the animated series.
I know that, but at the same time, I look at it and it's like, the 60s were 50 years ago. That time has long since passed.
Well, I can understand trying to recreate some of the elements of the 60s for a modern
because
era.
Batman's now apparently too serious to market to kids, so that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for
a kid show, yes, it works. But at the same time, it's just like the 60s were 50 years ago, guys. That time is long since passed.
I think it does a good job. It's obviously aimed for kids. To me, I think it does a good job getting kids introduced to the whole DC universe elements of Batman.
Yeah.
Because it goes through all, the whole, Joe Chill killed, Wayne's parents, all that stuff.
There are only two things I really do like about the series. One, Joker, because it's the fucking Joker. And he's actually voiced by, ironically, Dexter's dad.
Really?
Wait,
yeah.
Really?
I think so. And again, he's the Joker. It's like, even he mentions how he never fucking dies. It's like, I've been dropped into acid, thrown off of buildings, crushed by buildings. I always survive. I'm the Joker. And the only other thing I really liked about it is that Captain Marvel actually appears quite a bit, and he's a character that really needs to appear more.
Yeah.
Even if he is playing it incredibly 1950s.
Well, I find that odd, because Captain Marvel for a while was more popular than Superman.
He sold the most comic books in the 1940s over everyone else.
Yeah, so it's like, maybe you can try again?
Again, it's just one of those. This would be perfect for a kids' TV show. Why aren't you using him? Oh, he has to be a side character in Batman: Brave and the Bold. Well, again, I'm just glad he's there at least.
I would give it another maybe 3-4 years before we get another take on an animated Batman show that's a little bit more dark and brooding.
No. We already have one planned.
What?
Batman, Beware the Batman. It's like 3D animated and looks like ass.
I was not aware of this, so I'll have to look at that.
It looks like shit.
Do they really need that much Batman?
Do Marvel really need that much Wolverine?
Oh, okay. Well, again, you always bring this up, and I always bring up I don't care for Wolverine, so that argument doesn't really work for me.
Wolverine and his merry sidekicks, the X-Men.
We'll get to him later, but
I'm sure we will.
There's like 12 Batman and 12 Superman things on this list, for the record.
Well, mind you, there's really only one good Superman one, but...
Anyway, next is Batman.
Dun!
Number 16 is the 1960s Batman.
God damn it, I love this show.
I love it.
We're
getting into the,
I'm saying how much I dislike Brave and the Bold for being too, I can forgive 60s Batman because it was the 60s.
It was released in the 60s, yeah.
It's like, what were the comic books like? Incredibly silly and over the top.
It was Silver Age.
Yeah, it's a product of its time. You can't really blame it for that.
Yeah.
Well, also, like with the Brave and the Bold, if you're trying to expand to different audiences, which you really don't have to do in the 60s, what you see on TV is what you get. So it's like, but yeah, the 60s Batman, it's the Batman I'm pretty sure most people think of, honestly, when you say Batman.
Not so much. Well, it depends on how old you are. It's one of
there's still that inner subconscious though.
Because when I was a child, I'm talking about like 4, 5, 6 years old here.
Well, yeah, because
the show would occasionally, the show would occasionally pop in, and I would glue myself to the TV to take a look at it. I wasn't exactly into it.
Yeah, well, again, I think because at that point when we were that age, Johnny, Serious Batman was still pretty new to the public conscious.
Yeah. It wasn't until I saw the movie for the first time.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Yeah, I didn't actually get to see the Batman movie until 2005. Because Rustin, my roommate Jacob, introduced me to that. And I was laughing my fucking ass off. Because, wow.
This was one of two TV series my mom would actually watch when she was a kid. Yeah. That and Speed Racer.
This is beyond so bad it's good. First off, it was done deliberately.
Yes, for everyone involved, yes, it was done deliberately.
It was done deliberately. And I love it because of it. Because they know how ridiculous these plots are, the schemes are, how convolutedly complicated the plots are.
Well, that's the problem I have with Batman, is that a lot of the times you forget that it's a guy dressing up in bat pajamas fighting crime. There's an inherent silliness to any superhero to most superheroes, that if you fail to capitalize on it, it just sort of misses the point.
But I love 60s Batman. It's so fun to watch.
To me, besides, if it's not in a movie role, he doesn't get any better than Adam West. I'm sorry.
Moving on to number 15, Human Target.
This is a comic movie? I didn't realize that.
I've never even heard of this show or this comic.
I've heard of the show, but I never watched it.
Neither have I.
I can't say though much. I never watched an episode of this.
Yeah, so I guess move on to number 14, Batman Beyond.
Oh, look at that! More Batman.
Well, to be fair, this isn't Bruce Wayne Batman.
This is Terry McGinnis.
It's a very different kind of Batman show, dude.
Look at this! More
you can get
Batman.
You can get that from the opening alone, which is really a kick-ass intro. By the way,
I love the intro to this. I love the look to it. I love all the tech to it. The only thing I really don't like is the villains really suck.
The villains are completely unforgettable. Completely forgettable. I'm sorry.
The only one you remember is the Joker from the movie.
The Joker.
Joker.
And I think Mr. Freeze was in there somewhere.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze was in one episode, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's like I like Terry as a character. I like the new tech he has. I love the Neo Gotham look to everything. Just that the villain sucks, so the plots can be kind of blech at times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 13 is Superman the Animated Series.
This is one I'm just starting to get into. Because like last year I went through two phases. One I had my Batman the Animated Series phase where I watched every single episode.
Me too.
And then at the end of the year I actually went through my The Batman phase because I wanted to see if the show really did pick up in later seasons, and it did. No,
to me, no.
Second season to me is the best one because that was when the plots were actually getting good, but before they introduced Batgirl and Robin.
Spiky Helmet, Mr. Freeze.
I know. I never look forward to the Mr. Freeze episodes. I never look forward to because they just
Marilyn Manson, Riddler.
I understand you want to take a different interpretation of a character, but you just made him a common thief
again.
Ice powers. The Batman, to me,
the only thing I like about the Batman is its intro.
Its intro music is amazing. Until again, to me, the second season is the best series in the entire show. Besides the Justice League episodes, which are pretty good too. But back when it was just Batman alone, before they obviously were trying to aim it more towards kids with the Batgirl and Robin. It was pretty good. Still nowhere near as the animated series quality, obviously. But, it did action really well. And some of the stories were pretty good, like the whole Clayface arc. That's pretty damn tragic, actually. And I was following it through the end.
So let's move this back to Superman, since that's what the number
I was just about to say, so back on the topic of Superman.
I do like this series, but you come to the problem of, again, it's Superman. He's kind of invulnerable to everything.
I remember watching
him
some
kind of being
this.
like, oh, I have a lightning attack and it hurts you. It's like, yeah, it's Superman. No one's really a threat unless your name is Darkseid in this series.
I
And
remember
even then, that's if the plot's on your side.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember watching some of this, like, I think it was a TV movie with Superman. I just never remember being able to attach myself to anything that was going on. Because, again, it's Superman, again, there's no real threat to anything when you're Superman.
Darkseid, but that's about it.
Yeah, but you can't have Darkseid all the... Well, then you get into the Dragon Ball Z problem where you have to create more and more ridiculous villains to make a threat.
To give the show credit, it is the voices I use whenever I'm reading a comic. Much like the animated series.
I guess that's important.
I do like Tim Daly and Dana Delaney as Clark and Lois. And to be honest, I do like the Mr. Mixfield Spitlick episode. With Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah, I'm still trying to. I'm just getting into the series. I'm not exactly sure whether I like it or not. Because after this, I'm going to watch Justice League Unlimited.
Oh, I love Justice League Unlimited, despite the fact that it really slows down at points.
And I'm going to start watching Batman Beyond again. Just to
get the complete animated series.
Complete the DC animated universe. But number 12 is a show that I also...
Probably the only Marvel series I can actually enjoy watching.
Well, because you're a DC fanboy.
It's the only Marvel cartoon. It's the only Marvel cartoon I enjoyed.
Well, because I just don't care about the Marvel heroes.
I don't care about the DC heroes.
Image Comics. What?
If anybody brings in Dark Horse to this, I swear to God.
I like Dark Horse.
Fucking stab you.
Anyway, we have X-Men, the 1989.
Ironically, it's the Marvel comic out of all the ones that we've seen so far that I've watched the least. Marvel show I've watched the least.
Seriously, you haven't watched this?
Well, the thing is that, yeah, I'm a Marvel fan, but the thing is that the X-Men have enough material in and of themselves to have their own universe.
This was before the movies, though. So.
And this was before Wolverine publicity.
Yeah, it's like...
Well, Wolverine publicity was still kind of there at the time, just because he was the most famous, but he wasn't in everything at the time, so...
It's just that the X-Men's very dense. If you have to devote a lot of energy to keep everything straight. So it's like I just don't care for the X-Men themselves. I mean, I know enough about them. It's just they don't interest me.
I watch it solely because of Logan's marvelous laryngitis voice.
Where's that blasted salami?
I go where I want to go.
And Wolverine's really bad Dirty Harry impression. Oh, and Banshee. Oh. I love that scream because of how stupid it is. It's like, I'm saying you remember Sarah. What?
Number 11 is the only thing I remember out of MTV besides Beavis and Butthead.
The Max.
The Max.
I've never seen this.
This is early 90s.
Yeah, very early 90s.
Early 90s.
It looks very early 90s, I can say that.
I only very vaguely remember this.
Same here. I just remember that I used to watch the show sporadically. You know, I could say the same with Beavis and Butthead, but I remember them more than the Max, but I do recollect the Max.
So,
but that's it. I don't remember who the villain was.
Entirely forgotten.
Yeah.
Number 10 is The Flash. Well,
My God, that costume looks ridiculous.
Do you know what's more ridiculous? Mark Hamill is the trickster.
What?
Yeah. And because of Mark Hamill actually played the trickster in this live action TV series, they actually got him to voice the trickster again in Justice League.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, mind you, he was already on staff because of the Joker, but...
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's nice to see some kind of continuity like that. But yeah, that's the only footnote of this series that I have any interest in.
I was never a fan of the Flash.
I like the
character of the Flash. I don't know anything about like the continuity of the Flash, if that makes sense.
Well, I don't know anything much about this TV series. Number 9 is Tales from the Crypt. I remember watching a little bit of this with on some relatives that had cable at the time.
Yeah.
Before I moved down here.
If there's one channel that we constantly had on when we first got cable, it was HBO. And we were the family that didn't really turn the TV off when we were going to bed. So, you know, just leave the TV running for background noise, I guess. And Tales of the Crypt, you know, was usually on it late at night. So I was listening to it for most majority of my time. I wasn't actually watching it.
I do remember it to some extent.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe one day, like, I will go back and see because, you know, I hear like it does.
I hear it's still good.
Yeah.
Oh, look, number 8. Spoon!
My favorite comic book show, besides the animated series, was this show. I love the Tick.
Little Wooden Boy.
And it only gets better as you grow up.
Because it's hilarious.
It is fucking hilarious.
You wouldn't lie to me, would you, Little Wooden Boy?
Like, to this day, like, one of my favorite scenes ever is when the Batman knockoff, I forgot his name. Is he Bat Emanuel? Emanuel.
Yeah.
He's just trying to pull into the the highway through the entrance ramp.
And it's a fucking traffic jam, and he can't get
in. He's like, go, wait, after this next car, go, wait, no, wait, go, no.
Put the moon back, archfiend. Yeah, it's like, I would definitely check this series out just of how ridiculous it could get.
Yeah. I love the intro, too. I never get sick of that musical piece.
They live in an apartment. What?
It actually surprised me to find out that The Tick was an actual comic.
It was a parody comic.
Yeah, I know it's a parody comic, but it just seems something that fits more in a TV setting than a comic book setting.
Oh, that's why everyone remembers the TV series over the comic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So number 7 is The Middleman. I have no idea what this show is.
I haven't heard of anything about this.
Nope.
Me either, actually.
So obscure we can't talk about it. Number 6, Smallville.
Smallville.
How did you last 10 seasons?
I was gonna say, I did not find any appeal in this show whatsoever.
I watched a little bit of the first 2 seasons, but that's about it.
No,
The only episode I actually went out of my way to watch was ironically the finale because they used the Superman theme.
I see the appeal in Smallville because it's a Superman show where Superman isn't invincible, which I like a lot because
But that's the thing, though. Like, I think that was also what kicked them in the foot for me. And when this show first aired, I had no idea it was about Superman. I wasn't familiar with the Superman mythos to recollect that Smallville was the town he grew up in. So when it first aired, I just thought it was this story about this kid that was growing up in Smallville. I had no idea it was Superman in his younger years.
I think that's actually part of the reason why it did so well too, because you don't know. A lot of people don't know. I mean, everybody knows like the backstory of Superman, but not everybody knows that it's like the name of the town and stuff. So like when people finally realize that, yeah, it's Superman, I think that was a good shock moment for people. So I think that's sort of where a lot of the impact came from.
And I do like the final episode where he accepts his destiny and it starts playing the Superman theme. The actual movie one, yeah. They actually got the Superman theme.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Well,
So when he flies off at the end of the series, it's playing the Superman theme. So yeah. Okay. It's fine, I guess. Moving to
It works.
Yeah, it works. Moving to number 5. Justice League / Justice League Unlimited. I do like this series.
Well, now, this is after the animated series. This is after Superman.
Yeah. So they don't give too much characterization or arcs for Superman and Batman, obviously, because they've already had 2 series to themselves.
Yeah.
I do say that the beginning of the series is a bit too Wonder Woman heavy for me.
Wonder Woman.
Spins in place.
But I mean, once it picks up steam, it gets really good. I do like Unlimited, where they finally give some screen time to some lesser-known heroes, like Captain Marvel has an episode, Booster Gold is one of my favorites. And the Question and Huntress are freaking awesome, especially Question. 23 flavors. I knew it!
What?
He's a massive conspiracy theory nut.
Oh,
So he thinks everything's a conspiracy. It's like he's searching an ice cream store after it's closed at night. He's like, 23 flavors. I knew it! You know those little plastic caps at the end of your shoelaces? Their true purpose is heinous. It's just one of those things where it's like, God damn it, I wish this guy would have his own show.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a really good show. It's a really good team-up show. It just takes a bit of time to get going.
Yeah. That seems to be the most problem with things I'm trying to get into. It starts too fucking slow.
It does have some... Mind you, even though Superman and Batman aren't in it quite as much as you would think, they still have some good moments. I especially like Batman falling out of his plane after an attack. It's like, I could use some help, air support here since I can't fly at all. A few seconds later, now would be good. And he does it all completely deadpan. So
Again, I'm gonna give it a watch after I finish watching.
Again, just get through the first half of the first season, and it really picks up. Then,
okay,
it's just slow at first. Number
4 is the Incredible Hulk, the live action show. Yeah. Nobody ever mentions Bill Bixby. It's always Lou Ferrigno.
Well, to be fair, this is like this is by far the most iconic version of the Incredible Hulk. This is the one that most people think.
He's also the only true live action version of the character, because everything else nowadays is just CG.
I mean, I like the Hulk to an extent.
I don't. Hulk smash, that's it.
I mean, again, I was just about to say there's not a lot you can do with him. My favorite version of the character is the newest movie, the Edward Norton one. I've heard great things about this show, though. I've been meaning to watch it.
Yeah. Although Lou Ferrigno has given me the weirdest image ever at Dragon Con.
What's that?
Okay, so I'm in the autographs room. And obviously the far wall is all the big names. So In a row, there's Tom Felton, Carrie Fisher, Peter Mayhew, Christopher Lloyd, and Lou Ferrigno all next to each other. What? It's like Draco Malfoy, Princess Leia, Chewbacca, Doc Brown, and the Hulk?
Wait, hold on. Wait. You said Chewbacca?
Yeah, Peter Mayhew.
Why?
I've heard of Lou Ferrigno more than whoever plays Chewbacca.
Chewbacca can be anybody. A ladder can play Chewbacca. A ladder with a coat rack on top of it can play Chewbacca.
Well, he was there, so it was just a weird image
Okay.
of all 5 of them there. Number 3 is The Walking Dead, which I've heard mixed things about. To be honest,
I've heard it was good.
To be honest, I would rather read the comics and watch the TV show first.
Yeah, I mean, I see collections of the comics all over the place whenever I look for them. So, I mean, I'm sure they're not hard to find. So,
No,
I mean,
but it's just one of those things. I'm just zombied out right now.
yeah, it's like we were saying in the Resident Evil thing. It's just like zombies don't do anything for me. They're
Well,
They're
as far as
zombies.
zombies go, I do like High School of the Dead, which is an anime mostly because it's so over the top and just kind of gun happy that you can't really take it seriously. Kind of like Zombieland or something.
The Walking, everybody loves it. You know, my brother loves it. Folks love it. Everybody keeps talking about it. Again, with that said, I'm kind of afraid to get into the series.
Again, I'll probably check the TV series out after I bother to go track down some of the books.
You know, I hear it's great, but then again, everyone said Lost is great. No.
Regretted that ever since.
Yeah. Ooh, well.
Yeah, so moving on to number 2, The Spectacular Spider-Man. Where's my 60 Spider-Man? Suck my dick, New York. Hey.
okay. Well, I will say that I do love this series to death.
I never watched it.
I never watched it either.
It's I think it's the best Spider-Man thing I've ever watched.
Well, it's so I keep hearing, but it's just one of those. I have bad memories of the '90s Spider-Man TV series. So
give it a shot, I'd say. I mean, like it. One thing that I can say that this show does really, really well is Peter Parker and the villains. Like, for the first off, the voice that they got for Peter Parker / Spider-Man is great. I forget his name. It's like, this is like the best voice of Spider-Man I've ever heard. And the way that they do the villains in the show is really, really good. Like, they introduce them in early on, so you get to see how they act as normal people. And then, so when they turn into villains, they it actually means something. Like, in the first episode itself, you see Norman Osborn, Otto Octavius, the guy who turns into Electro, the guy who turns into Vulture, Eddie Brock, who becomes Venom. So that's like 5 villains are introduced in the first episode alone. And it's just like, the way that they do everything in this show is just really, really good. And it's funny, too. It's just everything that Spider-Man should be is this show, and it's awesome.
Okay. With that said, then I'll probably give it a look at, because you know what though, it's not the show's fault, but it was the '90s Spider-Man has not aged well at all. I remember getting some enjoyment out of it when I watched it while I was a Fox Kids, but I look back at it now. Jesus Christ, the animation is terrible. You know, because at that time you're already spoiled with the animated series, which had wonderful animation, and then this. First off, you got those horribly rendered 3D backgrounds at times when you're swinging from red to web to web. Sorry, you're not fooling any fucking body. And then you had like car sequences where the cars are like moving at 4 frames per second. The quality before quality.
Quality.
Quality van, no. Quality car.
It's like, and then before that, there's 60 Spider-Man, which it might as well be Marvel's version of 60s Batman. So,
but again, like Spectacular Spider-Man, I'd say check it out. I mean, granted, if you don't like Spider-Man, you're not gonna like the show. but it's good. I can honestly say that. Though the second season ends on the stupidest cliffhanger ever, and they never made a third one.
It's just August.
No, it that was around the time when Marvel the thing is that was around.
It was when Disney was buying Marvel, so
It was like that's sort of it got lost in the trade up. So now we're getting Ultimate Spider-Man with Drake Bell playing Peter Parker, and I don't know how that's going to work out.
Oh joy.
Yeah, I'm praying that it works out, but I'm preparing for the worst.
Look at all the fucks I give just raining from the sky.
Okay, number one. Who can guess what it is? Number one.
Dun, 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 dun.
So how about that 1960s Fantastic Four?
You know what? I think it's severely underrated. I mean, if you look past the shit quality and the shit plots and the shit dialogue, you got a real winner here. You just got to remake everything from the ground up.
So, Batman the Animated Series.
Honestly, if you didn't see this coming,
you're blind.
Get the fuck out.
Okay, I'm gonna have you guys.
If you can see me now, I have sparkly eyes of wonderment.
This was a show I grew up with. Remember watching it lots.
Me too.
But I didn't really come to appreciate it until after I did my animated series binge last year, and
it holds up extremely well.
Incredibly well.
There are a few animation hiccups here and there, but
yeah, some worse than others, and it's really fucking obvious at points. Actually, I think that one of the worst examples is actually the Grey Ghost episode.
Yeah,
there are some really fucking quirky moments in the animation department there. Like Bruce's mouth move with a mind of its own, him not having a face for certain shots. But then maybe it was intentional, considering the subject matter. So,
well, it was one of the first episodes made as well. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's anything I can dislike about this series.
Well, okay. Well, obviously, Marvel fanboy here, and again, on top of that, someone who doesn't care for Batman just as a whole. I mean, I've gone out of my way, and I say that it's a very well-made series. Just in general, it's done well. I just can't care.
Boo.
Well, come on. He's not a fan of Batman to begin with.
Yeah, so. I know, but I have to boo anyway.
How dare I have an opinion?
On the internet, no less.
How stupid!
The anime is I remember when I watched the animated series as a kid, but when I watched it again last year, at that point, I'm an adult. I have a deeper look into things. I have, I've criticized.
The Nolan movies have come out as well as the Tim Burton ones.
It's still better than most shit out today. And maybe it's a bit of nostalgia. I didn't watch every single episode when I was a kid.
I mean, like every show, there are a few clunkers in there, but
yeah, but it just pulled me in from beginning to end. Obviously, it lost some of its pizzazz when they did the animation shift with all those stupidest fuck character changes.
Why did you ruin the Joker, guys?
I hate the Riddler's redesign, to be perfectly honest.
Bald and jumpsuit. What?
Bald and pajamas.
And everything is so square in season 4.
Yeah, everything's very streamlined. They only did that though to make it more easier to animate. That's what it is.
Yeah. They did realize it was a problem though for when Batman and Joker and everyone else showed up in Justice League. They had a different redesign again.
Yeah, I do like the Joker's look in the Unlimited series.
Yeah,
which is the look they went for in the Batman Beyond movie.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, in terms of superhero animated shows, it doesn't get any better than this. Assuming you're a fan of DC to begin with,
Yeah.
Like I'm Ted. I'm pretty sure you'll take Spectacular Spider-Man over the animated series.
Yeah, I will.
You can say yes, Ted. I'm not going to criticize you.
Well, I'm afraid to get stabbed through the internet at this point.
Boo.
You already have like 6 sniper sights on your head for claiming you dislike Batman. Well, you're not a fan of Batman.
It's like dislike Batman. Oh, that's 3 sniper shots. Oh,
and now
you dislike Zelda on top of that. A further 12.
I mean, ultimately, this is still the superhero show every one of them gets measured up to.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm kind of annoyed that every once in a while we may have a year break without a Batman TV series. But they keep bringing it back. It's like, guys, you need to take more than 1 year off between Batman shows.
I think
if you want to make anything to compare this to.
I think that's just more of a Batman oversaturation in general.
Wolverine.
No, well, okay. Let's just put it this way. Wolverine has had 4 shows. Batman has had like 6.
And Wolverine is completely hijacked not 1 but 2 movie series. So, yeah,
Wolverine's hijacked two movies, not 2 movie series. I mean, Batman. It's like there's Batman movies, Batman. There's the Dark Knight trilogy. There's all the different TV series, and then you've got the comics, which is like a 5th Batman. When they did the relaunch, there was like 6 Batman books.
Well, technically only 4 with Batman in the title.
But I don't get that though. You mentioned the New 52, and there's Batman. There's the Dark Knight. Then there's
Batman and Robin and Detective
Batman and Robin. Oh, what the fuck!
And then you've also
keep it to 1 book.
And then, if you count the spin-off stuff, you've got Nightwing and Catwoman and Batwing. It's just like this. Batman's overexposed.
Wolverine.
No, not even. Well, look at the comics. Wolverine has 1 comic. Wolverine and the X-Men. Well, actually, I think
Wolverine and his merry sidekicks, the X-Men.
He doesn't have 4 fucking books.
Wolverine also had his own pointless anime series. Wolverine also had a...
Well, that sucked, and everybody knows that
Wolverine
sucked.
also had a very crappy origin movie in which he already had an origins movie in X-Men 2.
Okay, Ryan, you're not going to win this. Batman has more stuff than Wolverine.
Yeah, but Batman's better than Wolverine, so there.
Okay, now we're just getting into a Marvel...
DC!
That's not true! That's not true! You're wrong!
It's just like okay, fine. You can argue that other characters are overexposed too, but I think that after Dark Knight Rises, Batman needs to be reeled back a bit.
Oh, dude, they're not gonna make any Batman movies for a while after Dark Knight.
I mean, just in general, like less
after
TV,
Dark Knight,
less comics.
After Dark Knight Rises, they're gonna give the job to Superman for a little bit. They're gonna establish him up, and then they're gonna reboot Batman to fit in with the Superman mythos, and then they're going to make a Justice League movie.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing now. Thank you, Green Lantern, for screwing that whole plan up for a good 5 years.
Maybe the Flash can do that instead.
Oh, dude, the whole Wonder Woman and Flash movies pretty much hinged on Green Lantern doing well.
I think I don't know. I think a Wonder Woman movie would do better than Green Lantern, to be perfectly honest. And I think the Flash may do better than Green Lantern.
Well, all I know is that I can look forward to my Avengers movie next
Dark Knight Rises.
And you guys are going to have to wait so long for the Justice League movie.
Who cares? I'm just Dark Knight Rises. Guess what? We have Dark Knight Rises.
I find that okay. Again, I'm going to prepare for more fanboy hate here, but I find the Dark Knight terribly overrated.
Ooh.
Terribly overrated.
Hold on, because now we're getting into a whole different discussion. Okay, look, I agree that the Dark Knight was overly marketed when it first released.
All because it's overrated, but it's.
But you have Heath Ledger's death to blame for that, though.
Yeah.
It's a tragic thing what happened to him. To me, he played a kick-ass Joker, no doubt about that in my mind. But his face was every fucking where when he died. They probably did it because they want you to remember Heath Ledger for his final performance. Well, it wasn't the final performance he ever did, but certainly one of his most memorable. So they wanted to really nail in the fact that you're really going to enjoy the fuck out of his acting in this movie. So they just pushed the marketing scheme over and over and over and over and over again, and then it did really well in the box office. So everyone's talking about it. You know, I love the Dark. You know, the Dark Knight to me is one of my favorite Batman movies and one of my favorite movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But I completely agree that it was overly. It was heavily saturated. It was oversaturated at the market everywhere. Everywhere you looked, there was a time in June and July where nobody would shut the fuck up about the Dark Knight. I agree.
It's just that I look at The Dark Knight Rises and you pick Bane, who's sort of a boring villain, honestly.
Because here's the thing, Ted. Where do you know Bane from? Most likely Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
I know I haven't seen Batman and Robin, so...
But even you don't need to in order to have your visions clouded. Because Batman and Robin fucked Bane up the ass. He's not a plant monster. He's not...
a mindless drone.
Drone. He is one of the most intelligent, brutal rogues in Batman's gallery. He broke Batman's back in the comic book series. Granted, Batman got better, but no one's ever done that to Bruce Wayne before.
It's just that I don't know.
I understand. I completely understand. But in terms of, you know, the whole Marvel versus DC thing, you know, I'm looking forward to the Avengers movie. I'm
going to go see it. But
I'm going to go see it strictly for Iron Man because I love Iron Man.
Me too. I like the Iron Man movies. I could not care less about Captain America or the Hulk or Thor.
I like all those guys.
You're going to suck.
I just don't care about Captain America because he's such a propaganda hero.
Granted, I'm going to watch Captain America and I'm going to watch Thor to familiarize myself with this universe's Marvel character, you know, with the Marvel characters of this universe. You know, again, like I said, I'm watching it for Iron Man, but I want to be able to familiarize myself with all the other characters.
Big man in a suit of armor. Without that, what are you? Naked. Naked. I love that comic.
We also have the new Spider movie coming out next year, don't we?
I hope that doesn't suck.
I am not hopeful for that, to be perfectly honest with you.
No, it's like all signs point to it sucking, but I really hope it doesn't.
To be perfectly honest, I think it's too soon to completely reboot Spider-Man. If you wanted to reboot him quickly, you should have done it before the Avengers came out.
What I think this is again, due to the Disney copyright stuff, it's sort of like X-Men: The Last Stand, where it's Fox's like last chance to keep the Spider-Man toys before the Disney mom takes them away, if that makes any sense. So I mean, like half of me doesn't want the movie to suck because, you know, Spider-Man fan. But the other half of me does want it to suck so that Spider-Man can get his own Avengers movie. So, we'll see.
I mean, and that said, I am looking forward. Well, I mean, speaking purely on future superhero movies, I am looking forward to Man of Steel in 2013.
Well, I'm looking forward to that too.
Just because we finally need to get away from the 70s continuity.
Yeah. That too.
Mind you, I do want them to keep the Superman theme, but that's it.
Yeah, if there's one thing you have to keep, it's a Superman theme. Granted, they're probably not going to, because they didn't keep the Batman theme for the Dark Knight trilogy, which I think is the only flaw the movie trilogy has. Is it doesn't have
Well, no, because I think that theme fits better for that version.
You're right.
Of Batman.
But
the thing is, Superman has only one identifiable theme, which is that movie theme.
Yeah.
Batman's had a number of themes to go with whatever look he's sporting.
Batman.
I mean, when you think music, I mean, Superman's theme, there's only one everyone thinks of.
Yes.
So I really think you should try and keep that above anything, if anything else.
What I expect is that's going to be like what they play right before the credits or right during the beginning of the credits. Like, they'll have their own theme just to differentiate themselves, but they'll play it at the end because it'll make people happy.
Yeah. Which, that said, though, for The Dark Knight Rises, I really hope, you know, I don't care if it's out of context or anything, just bring Danny Elfman's theme for just one thing.
That's not gonna.
I know it's not gonna happen. I remain hopeful. It can even be just in the credits, you know. One of the things I loved about what the first Spider-Man movie did was that it brought in the '60s theme at the very end of the credits. Granted, it was at the very end of the credits, but they brought it back anyway.
They had a guy sing it in the subway, like with a guitar.
Yeah.
I mean, I always love it when comic book movies do that. Like in Captain,
go incredibly meta.
Yeah, in the Captain America movie, at one point he's puts on the classic Captain America outfit and he's trying to raise money for the army. And so they have a whole bunch of merchandise outside, and one of them is the comic book, the first issue of Captain America comics
with him punching Hitler,
with him punching Hitler in the face, which made me laugh. So yeah.
Yeah, lots of next year is definitely going to be
interesting
fun in terms of movies. Obviously, look,
it's basically Marvel versus DC, the box office.
Pretty much. I mean, ultimately, I'm looking more towards Dark Knight Rises. Mostly, I'm more interested in seeing Avengers more for the experiment of it.
Yeah,
because we've never seen a movie like this as far as the whole superhero stuff goes.
Yes.
To be honest, I'm looking more forward to the stuff that they have planned after the Avengers. Like, I think they're doing a Doctor Strange movie. That'll probably be cool. I like him. He's a pretty cool guy.
Doctor Strange is pretty cool.
At this point, I'm just waiting for a third Iron Man.
They're making a third Iron Man.
I know they are. I love Iron Man. Is my favorite Marvel hero. In terms of the film continuity, I love Iron Man. Iron Man was one of those things I wasn't exactly sure about. I went to the theater to see it. I fell in love with it. I love it to this day. I have both movies.
With nothing but a box of scraps.
So
and then there's that really terrible Iron Man anime.
I heard it was at least better than the Wolverine one.
Oh, it's better than that, but that's not saying much. That's like saying Shadow the Hedgehog's better than Sonic 06.
That's debatable.
You know what I mean.
Who gets to record that, by the way?
Probably me.
Wait, me?
Yes.
Wait, when did this happen?
I am Supreme Commander. You have to obey, commentary slave. What tish?
Oh. I'll record Crystal now.
Well, that went on far longer than I expected.
Are we even talking about TV shows anymore?
No.
It predictably became a Marvel versus DC rant.
Marvel.
DC.
Marvel.
Dark Horse.
One Piece.
We're not doing this.
Fuck's sake.
We're not doing this.
No, we're not doing this. DC.
Yes,
Marvel.
DC. 2 against
Marvel.
1. You're outvoted. You lose.
Damn it!
Thanks for playing. Goodbye.
While we're at it, Galaxy.
Yeah, I agree with that.